Have you ever walked into a room and felt it shift before you spoke a single word? The air thickens. Conversations pause. Eyes glance. Some with curiosity, others with caution. This is not your imagination. It is the spiritual weight of your presence. You are not like the rest. You are a chosen one. And whether you see it or not, the world sees you. From the moment of your birth, a seal was placed upon your soul, invisible to the natural eye, but unmistakable in the spirit. This mark doesn't just set you apart. It sends a signal, a frequency that awakens the watchers, stirs the envious, and draws both light and darkness to your doorstep. And here, at Chosen One's Sanctuary, we're going to help you understand why. Throughout Scripture, those chosen by God, from Joseph to Esther, from David to Jesus, were never anonymous for long. Their very existence provoked reactions, dreams, accusations, admiration, even plots. Being chosen has never meant being hidden. In fact, it often means being watched more closely than anyone else. That feeling you've had your whole life, like someone's always observing, analyzing, studying your every move. It's not just social. It's spiritual. Today, we're going to uncover 8 powerful, prophetic reasons why everyone seems to be secretly watching you. Not to make you paranoid, but to prepare you. Because every glance, every whisper, every silent envy has a meaning. And understanding that meaning is the key to walking boldly in your divine calling. Stay with me until the end of this message, because the final reason will not only shock you, it will confirm what your spirit has sensed all along. You were never meant to go unnoticed. Your presence is a message, and your mission is already unfolding. Let's begin. 1. Your light exposes their darkness. There is a reason why people shift in your presence. Some grow quiet, some grow tense. Others become strangely defensive without you ever saying a word. This is not because of what you do. It is because of what you carry. The moment you walk into a space, the hidden begins to stir. Your very being emits a light not of this world. And that light reaches into places where others have buried shame, secrets, or compromise. This is the burden of the chosen. To carry a light so pure, it causes darkness to tremble even in silence. Scripture tells us in John 1:5 that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. But what it does do is react. When your spirit is aligned with heaven, it becomes a divine mirror. You reflect what others cannot yet face in themselves. The unfinished, the unhealed, the unrepentant. They sense that something in you sees beyond surface and performance. And for many, that exposure feels like judgment. Not because you've judged them, but because their own soul is now crying out for truth. This is why you're watched, why you're analyzed, not because they're curious about your clothes or your career, but because your existence threatens the structures they've built to survive in darkness. Like the prophets of old, your presence disrupts the false peace. Elijah did not have to explain why the people of Israel grew uneasy. His fire on Mount Carmel made their idols look small. In the same way, your light makes every counterfeit dim by comparison. But make no mistake, if you ignore this sign, if you shrink back, dull your radiance, or try to blend in, you may find temporary comfort, but you will lose your commission. Because your light was never given for decoration. It was given for warfare. You are not here to soothe shadows. You are here to pierce them. And as the shadows recoil from your presence, they reveal just how necessary your presence truly is. 2. You awaken emotional truth in others. Chosen one, your presence doesn't just shift the atmosphere, it shifts the internal weather of people's hearts. Without even trying, you pull emotion from places they've long forgotten how to reach. Tears come unexpectedly. Confessions slip out without warning. And strangers feel compelled to share their deepest wounds in your presence, as if your spirit creates a sanctuary they've never known. This is not charisma. It is calling. It is the mantle you carry, and it moves through you like a gentle but unstoppable stream. The woman at the well didn't plan to expose her pain that day in John 4. But one conversation with Jesus, and she spilled everything. Not because she was forced, but because she was seen. This is what happens when someone carrying the Spirit of God encounters someone desperate for healing. You carry that same weight. You awaken dormant truth in people's hearts simply by standing still. You are not just noticed. You are felt, deeply, unforgettably. This emotional impact is not random. It is a divine strategy. For in a world that numbs, hides, and performs, your authenticity becomes a holy interruption. You remind people, even without words, that it's still possible to feel. And that realization is both terrifying and liberating. But beware. If you suppress this gift out of fear of being too much or too intense, you will betray the very oil God poured over you. Your capacity to reach hearts is sacred. It is a healing balm for those wandering in numbness. You are not here to be liked. You are here to help people remember how to feel again. Some will thank you. Some will resent you. But none will forget you. Because the heart never forgets the one who helped it start beating again. 3. Envy tracks. What it cannot imitate. There is a silent storm that often follows those who are truly chosen, and its name is envy. It does not always arrive loudly. It arrives through side glances, disguised compliments, veiled criticisms. You'll hear it in the sarcasm, feel it in the dismissiveness, but beneath every attempt to belittle your worth lies a deeper truth they dare not admit. They wish they had what you carry. Cain watched Abel, not because Abel was arrogant, but because Abel was accepted. The favor of God resting on you will provoke those who have not yet dealt with the absence of favor in their own lives. Your joy will offend their despair. Your clarity will confront their confusion, and your consistency will expose their compromise. Envy is not about you. It is about the void in them that your presence makes undeniable. The imitators will come too. Some will try to speak like you, walk like you, mimic your every move. But they will never bear your fruit, because they have not survived your pruning. You carry scars they cannot see, endurance they cannot imitate, and fire they cannot manufacture. And yet they will watch. They will study. They will copy. All the while, resenting that the spark they borrowed does not set them ablaze the way it does you. This is not your failure. It is your distinction. But understand this. If you do not recognize envy for what it is, you may begin to internalize it as rejection or shame. Do not. You were never meant to dim your brilliance to comfort the insecure. The oil on your life was not given in secret, so you could live in silence. Let them whisper. Let them watch. Because even envy, when submitted to truth, can transform into reverence. And sometimes, the same people who criticize you in one season will call on you in the next. And when they do, you must be ready. Not bitter, not boastful, just faithful. Your light must outlast their doubt. 4. You carry unexplained favor. There is a kind of grace on your life that makes no sense to others, and sometimes not even to you. Doors open you didn't knock on. Battles resolve before you even lift your hand. Opportunities arrive in the wilderness. This is not coincidence. It is covenant. God's favor on the chosen is not always loud, but it is always evident. And for those watching, it becomes a source of quiet confusion and unspoken fascination. Joseph had favor in the pit, favor in Potiphar's house, favor in prison, favor in Pharaoh's court. He didn't chase promotion, he carried prophecy, and that prophecy carried him. The same is true for you. The grace on your life is not random. It is a sign of your assignment, and people sense it, even when they don't know the source. This is why they watch. They try to trace your success, but cannot replicate your steps. They see the fruit, but not the fasting. They notice the increase, but not the intercession. You carry a heavenly blueprint, and earthly eyes cannot decode it. But take heed. Favor without discernment can lead to entrapment. Not everyone who celebrates you is safe. Some are drawn to the overflow, not the obedience. And if you forget where the favor came from, you risk trading your divine path for performance. Stay grounded, stay grateful. Because favor will always attract attention, but your integrity will determine if you keep it. And the favor that surrounds you now is not for applause. It is for assignment. Even in silence, it speaks of something sacred. And those who watch it closely often sense that it was never meant to be contained. 5. You reflect a hidden standard. There is something unsettling about your presence. Not because you bring judgment, but because you carry standard. Without lifting a finger or raising your voice, you awaken a dormant knowing in others that there is more purity, more purpose, more depth. You don't just walk into rooms. You confront false comfort simply by being who you are. And those around you can feel it, even when they can't name it. When Daniel refused the king's food in Babylon, it wasn't a protest. It was a standard. One quiet decision that shifted the spiritual climate of an entire palace. You, too, set unseen boundaries that make others question their compromise. Your life doesn't just reflect your choices, it exposes theirs. And whether they draw closer or pull away, the impact remains the same. You become a reminder of what they were called to, but abandoned. A glimpse of who they could be had they not settled. This is why they study you, not always with admiration, sometimes with disdain. But both are rooted in the same truth. They see something in you that reflects who they once were, or who they are afraid to become. Your standard is not just behavioral, it is spiritual architecture. It is the framework of kingdom living, embodied in a life that refuses to bow to the easy way. Ignore this, and you will start to feel the pressure to soften your edges, to make others feel safe in their stagnation. But your role is not to validate brokenness. It is to reveal the blueprint. You are not called to reflect the world's standards. You were chosen to restore heavens. And those who feel uncomfortable in your presence are often the ones who are closest to their awakening. 6. Your journey interrupts their comfort. Chosen one, your path has never been ordinary, and it never will be. But what you may not realize is that your very existence disrupts people's illusions. You remind them that purpose costs something, that comfort is not the goal, that destiny will always demand a sacrifice. And for those content with casual living, your life feels like a confrontation. When Elijah stood before the prophets of Baal, it wasn't just a battle of altars, it was a divine interruption, a moment that shattered complacency with fire. And when you walk in your assignment, you become that moment for others, a divine interruption clothed in human form. You make them question what they've tolerated. You stir their spirit out of apathy, and yes, you irritate the parts of them that are still asleep. This is why you are watched, sometimes with awe, sometimes with annoyance. Your resilience makes excuses look flimsy. Your obedience makes rebellion feel heavier. Your progress makes stagnation unbearable. They don't hate you. They hate what your life demands of theirs. But do not apologize for being the alarm clock in a generation lulled into spiritual sleep. Do not downplay the weight of your calling to ease the conscience of the lukewarm. You were not chosen to fit into their system. You were sent to interrupt it. And every time someone's spirit stirs at the sound of your voice or the sight of your discipline, know this: heaven is using your life to awaken what they thought was dead. You are the storm they never expected, and the shift they secretly needed. 7. Your spirit has been seen before. There is a reason why some people feel drawn to you before you've spoken a word, why others seem uneasy the moment you arrive. It is because your spirit carries echoes, ancient echoes. Before they knew your name, they felt your presence. Some encountered you in visions. Others sensed you in dreams they could not explain. And still more are moved by an unspoken recognition, as if something deep within them remembers a light they have not seen in this lifetime. This is the mystery of divine memory, of spirits that have crossed paths before time was time. Herod didn't know Jesus personally, but he knew enough to fear him. The wise men had never met the child, but they traveled by starlight to find him. There is a knowing that cannot be explained, only discerned. And you, chosen one, are often known before you are understood. People watch you because your spirit has stirred something in theirs. Sometimes it's wonder, sometimes it's warning, but both come from the same root: awareness. Awareness that you are not ordinary, that your life is not beginning here, but continuing a story heaven has been writing for generations. This awareness draws attention, both divine and demonic. Some will be led to protect you without knowing why. Others will be tempted to oppose you, sensing danger to their kingdom of control. This is not flattery. This is spiritual fact. Your presence is a continuation of prophecy. And those with spiritual eyes, even if only half open, feel it. You cannot run from what your spirit carries. And if you ignore this truth, if you minimize your authority to avoid unsettling others, you will delay the very impact you were sent to make. Your presence is a signal, a reminder, a mirror to what eternity planted in you long before birth. And every glance, every whisper, every dream with your face in it is proof that your arrival was expected. 8. You are a living prophecy. You are not just fulfilling a prophecy. You are walking, breathing evidence of one. Your story was not improvised. It was declared. Heaven authored your name into the scrolls of time with purpose, and now, with each step, that divine sentence is unfolding before the eyes of the world. People watch you not simply because of what you've done, but because of what you represent. A promise in motion. Isaiah 61 speaks of those anointed to bind the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to captives, to comfort all who mourn. Jesus read those words aloud to announce his mission. And you, chosen one, are called to echo that same spirit-led commission. The watchers may not know the chapter or the verse, but their spirits recognize the shift. They sense that you are not just a person. You are a sign, a revelation wrapped in skin. This is why the scrutiny intensifies, why the pressure increases, why resistance appears from nowhere, because prophecy always provokes opposition. Before Joseph saw the palace, he was thrown in a pit, not because of who he was, but because of what his dream threatened. You too carry dreams that rattle foundations. That's why you're followed. That's why you're studied. That's why even your silence speaks. If you ignore this, if you treat your life like chance or accident, you will forfeit the authority that comes with knowing you were sent. But if you walk in it, if you live with the full weight of heaven's intention behind every word, every prayer, every movement, then even your ordinary moments will become divine disruptions. You are the scroll they didn't expect to read, the answer they didn't know they were waiting for, the voice that reminds them what God is still doing in the earth. And whether they admit it or not, they are watching because you are the proof that prophecy still walks among them. Your life is not just unfolding, it is declaring. And the eyes fixed on you are not just curious, they are bearing witness to a word becoming flesh. The watching eyes are not the threat, they are the evidence that something ancient has been awakened in you. Something heaven authorized long before the world had language for it. And now, as you walk through life, carrying that unseen scroll, that prophecy in motion, everything around you begins to respond, some with reverence, some with resistance, but none with indifference. To be chosen is not to be celebrated. It is to be set apart, watched, tested, and often misunderstood. But it is also to be trusted, with a light the world did not give you and cannot take away. When others observe your life, they are not just witnessing a person. They are witnessing a collision between heaven's intention and earth's resistance. This is the mystery, that your presence alone becomes a message. And your path, though marked by trials, is also the path that makes others remember there is still purpose in the earth. So, what will you do, knowing the world is watching? Will you retreat into silence? Or will you walk boldly, understanding that even your footsteps are prophetic echoes in dry places? Let this truth rest in your spirit. You are the signal heaven sent. You are the storm earth did not prepare for. You are the living proof that God's promises are still unfolding. If this message confirmed what your soul has always known, then you are not alone. Here at Chosen One's Sanctuary, we are walking this road together. Like, share, and subscribe so you never miss what heaven is revealing. And if a particular moment in this video spoke to your spirit, share it in the comments below. Your voice might be the confirmation someone else has been waiting for. And if the watchers are still watching, let them witness this. The rise of someone who knows exactly who they are. Chosen, watched, sent. Until next time, stay covered, stay lit, and stay walking. The world is watching for a reason.